Hi everyone, I'm Brad Gates, Business Operations Director for the City of Ontario, and this is the latest installment of Ontario Connects, coming to you from right here at Four Sector Innovations in downtown Ontario. Today I am joined by Jordan Villwock, Fire Administrative Director for the City of Ontario Fire Department. Jordan, it's good to see you from a social distancing measure. How are you doing?
Great, Bradley. Thanks for having me here today. It's kind of definitely weird to have an interview with this mask on my face. I can say this is definitely a first.
But it's a good look, I think.
Yeah.
And it's going to be here for a while, I think.
I agree.
So we're all getting used to it.
It'll be the new norm.
That is for sure. Well, hey, again, thank you for being here with us today. And I wanted to just start off by asking you, what are you and what is the city and what is the fire department doing to help the community and especially the business community respond to this COVID pandemic?
So the city started actively writing and drafting a plan once this pandemic started, and when the declarations moved forward from the state as far as the stay-home order and such, that we did have a plan that had a phased approach that we followed as a city, both for our own personnel, our city facilities, but also those that impacted the business community as well. And now as we are all hopeful that we're winding down towards looking towards a reopening of our businesses, that we have drafted a reopening plan. Again, not only for our city employees, but also for the businesses, that will provide some guidance to the businesses and measures that they should take place that will help them reopen, both for the safety of their customers and also for their employees.
So I know the fire department, you have an emergency management. Is it a unit? Is it a specific department within?
Yeah, it's a division, so we have an emergency management team. It consists of myself and Raymond Chung in the fire department that really assist in the recovery operations, the emergency operations center operations, as well as part of the recovery piece.
Tell us a little bit more. I'm interested to find out, from a disaster perspective. I think we so often, especially here in California, think of disasters as earthquakes, right? Mm-hmm. But this is a disaster. So what has your emergency management division been doing specifically to help the community respond to this?
Well, I think there's the response phase, which involves making sure that our fire department, our first responders have the right level of protective personal equipment, or mm-hmm. personal protective equipment would mm-hmm. be the appropriate term, making sure that we're supplied to be able to respond appropriately, and then assist our high-risk locations such as nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, dialysis centers, with making sure that they have the right PPE to be able to assist them in their operations. So that's really one side of emergency management that people don't realize exists. And we're also making decisions. We're really the glue that puts everybody together in the city facility, making sure the executive director's, city manager's office is apprised of all the changes, working with public health to put on, like we did this week, the testing facility at the Toyota Arena, and really making sure that we support the community in whatever way possible to help us navigate this pandemic that's really something we haven't seen in our lifetime.
Well, you and all of our first responders have been doing a terrific job, and I know that you've been coordinating a lot of donations. I know that just the community at large has been wanting to make sure that our first responders have that PPE that they need, and so I know we've taken a lot of donations of face masks and other protective equipment to help, again, make sure that our first responders have what they need as they go out and continue to serve the community.
Absolutely. This community is very giving. I think even these face masks that we're sporting right here were actually donated from a local business. So we appreciate every donation that we receive, from the individual to the businesses that came out to make sure that we were able to stay safe.
That's right. Yeah, the business community has been so supportive in every way that they can. And speaking of our business community and how we help them, you mentioned earlier that businesses are going to be reopening soon. And I know that the governor just recently released basically a 4-phase plan for reopening the economy in California. Mm-hmm. So as a business owner or as the manager of a business here in Ontario, what should they be doing now to prepare for that eventual reopening?
I think that word right there, the preparedness piece, is where we're at. So would suggest that these businesses look at preparing for what their new norm when they're able to open their doors are. So, for example, preparing a plan to address the workspace, making sure that they start thinking about how many customers they might let into their business to limit the occupancy, figuring out which employees they want to transition back to actually being in person in the office, and making sure that there's that 6 feet social distances between their workspaces, making sure they have enough disinfectant on hand, have a plan for how frequently they're going to clean their commonly used facilities, countertops, look to start putting floor markings down on the floor if they have customers coming in, to make sure that it easily identifies where that 6 feet radius is. Put signs that maybe identify and remind people not to come into the premise if they have any symptoms or are sick. Make sure that you require a face mask. Those are some of the things that come to mind as far as what people can do to prepare.
That's perfect. It's going to be no small task to do those things. Is there any other safety measures or things that you didn't already mention that these businesses should really be considering as they reopen?
You know, this past week when I was down at a bank, I had to do some business, and they had one of those portable shields that really protected you from the banker, and it was something easy that they're able just to move around, and it was plexiglass or some level of plastic that separated it. And I think something so simple as that could really be helpful and really make customers feel more comfortable coming in to do business or shopping at your facility, as well as the employees. So I think that would be another thing to consider.
So we know today we're in phase 1. As of filming today, we're in phase 1 of the governor's plan, which is the stay-at-home order, and basically all non-essential businesses are closed. But we're getting ready to move into phase 2. What can you tell us about phase 2? What kind of businesses can reopen, and is there anything that the business community should know specific to that plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So in rolling into phase 2, there was what the governor called his report card, and it required a lot of things to take place before we could move into phase 2, which is making sure that we have the hospital bed capacity. We have enough of that PPE that's available for first responders. We have enough trackers on the field. We're doing enough testing every day to kind of make us comfortable in moving into this new phase 2. And what the governor's identified at this point is that he's looking to the expanded retail with curbside pickup. So, and then as well as associated manufacturing and supply chains. So really what that looks at is the potential for bookstores, for sporting goods stores, for clothing stores, florists, those type of facilities that could implement a plan that would allow for curbside pickup for those individuals to go back to work and start opening their doors, to start, pushing out their products and helping them reopen in that sense, and that it will be required to have the curbside pickup.
That's great, and I think obviously we want to do it at the right time and we want to do it appropriately, but I know just so many people are anxious for this reopening to happen, and I know that our business owners are certainly anxious to reopen. What advice would you give to members of the community as businesses start to reopen and they can start to go out a little bit more? What would you tell a resident here in the community? What things can they do to help make sure that they keep them and their family safe?
I think that they need to make sure they take those safety measures, make sure that they have face masks when they go out. So when they go enter those public spaces, they're able to put it on, or go through a drive-through facility, that they protect themselves and the place that they're going to do business. I think that they also need to be reminded those basics, such as washing your hands multiple times, making sure you sanitize stuff before you bring it into your house, making sure you're washing your clothes frequently, especially if you're spending all day at a new business or amongst other people in the area. Making sure you keep that social distancing, remind your children to do the same, and I think those are some pretty good safety measures. In regards to the businesses, the other thing I would recommend, especially for those businesses that are looking to potentially open in this next phase, in phase 2, would be start to think of what that drive-up pickup scenario would look at for your business, and work with your property managers to start developing those plans. If certain spaces in a parking lot would be blocked off and allowed for that drive-through pickup, start having those conversations with your management team or your neighboring businesses to collaborate and develop a plan that makes sense for everyone while keeping everybody safe.
That's a really great suggestion. Again, just so much to think about, so many moving pieces and parts that are going to this. But again, I think everyone's done a really good job of pitching in and really doing as a community, as a city, really doing their part to help us flatten the curve and respond to this crisis. I can't thank you enough, and thank all of our first responders here in the City of Ontario for everything that you continue to do every day to help protect the lives of our residents and businesses.
Yeah.
So thank you again for being here with us today.
Thanks, Brad. And I know our firefighters, our first responders, our police officers are very glad to serve this community, and they're happy to do so. And they really appreciate all the work that the community is doing.
That's great. Thank you for listening and being here with us today. I want to remind you about all of the very important business resources and programs that are available to help our business community. We still have funding available in the Paycheck Protection Program. So please, again, contact the SBA or your lender to access those resources. Reach out to us here at the City of Ontario if there's anything that we can do to help provide you or connect you with a vital resource or level of assistance. Again, we're so grateful for all of you, for the business community that supports everything that we do. Again, we wouldn't be here if not for you, and so we want to support you and provide you with anything that we can at this time to help with this reopening process. And we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully again in person soon. And until that time, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.